So here's the thing. Hi, I'm Jack Noke, Jack in the Attic. Here's the thing. My yarn storage is at capacity. It's at capacity now that I have done a massive destash, and I have a box of yarn next to me that I'm at scraps to drop off. Now my yarn is at capacity instead of over capacity. I wanted to buy a new yarn related thing, not yarn, but I figured I should do the destash before I buy the new thing. And the new thing is already here. And this video is about the new thing. You're gonna see the new thing. So let's donate all of this yarn. If you want this Hobie Halloween sock yarn that I started knitting up and thought it looked fugly, come get it at Scraps, the whole skein. It's for you. I can't hear. Okay, I think the last time I recorded anything was a full week ago when I donated a bunch of yarn to Scraps. Long story short, it got cold. Everything that can flare is flaring. I'm just having a time. So you didn't miss anything. Don't worry. You didn't miss anything. Except I did start a pair of socks. I'll show you the socks. I'm doing my first 2 at a time socks. And I don't think I'm ever going back. I think this is the way. Does it feel like really slow going? Yes. But I think the pros really outweigh the cons. I have known, in theory, how to do socks 2 at a time this whole time. The issue has been remembering to set it up that way at the beginning instead of getting halfway through a sock and thinking, oh, I should try 2 at a time. That's not helpful. So I did it for real this time. These are the... Hold on. Had to check my sock notebook. These are the Simply Irresistible socks in Hazel Knits Artisan Sock yarn, color Portobello. Does everyone have a sock notebook? Is that just me? So I did frog the koi fish looking Halloween yarn banana socks from however many videos ago, several videos ago. I frogged them. I just can't do that yarn. I don't like it. I don't want to keep working with it. I donated it. I frogged all of the, like, part of the sock I had done, rolled it up in a little ball, stuffed it back inside the yarn. So sorry to whoever buys that yarn. That will be a little bit of a surprise, but not like yarn barf bad. I wanted you to have all of the yarn. Sorry, it's a little unconventional, but all the yarn is there. I think that's what matters, and it's not tangled. Did I talk about weaving? We're going to talk more about weaving tomorrow, but I did buy a toy for children weaving loom, and I'm using it. Okay, here's the first thing I wove with some scrap yarn. It's not very even. I didn't do like any research really, other than like I've seen people weave. So I need to figure out how to get the edges really straight and how to keep my tension even. I assume a lot of it is just practice. I felt kind of clever for figuring out how to do this. Not this. This doesn't feel very clever at all, but this feels a little clever. My intention is to make a little roll-up like sewing kit, like a housewife. I doubt they're called housewives anymore. Housewives is the plural there. I doubt they're called that anymore. A little roll-up sewing kit. I have some edge binding I'm just gonna put on the edges. Turn this into a pocket. Maybe, oh, I might line it in fabric and have it be extra long and make the pockets out of... This is fabric. I'm gonna line it with a different fabric. I don't have enough of a plan to be discussing this on camera, and yet here I am. But that's the point, is that I'm experimenting with weaving on a toy for children. I did, before purchasing this on eBay, I did look up the exact item. on YouTube to see if people had reviewed it, and oh boy, they have. They have. I found a very talented and experienced weaver on YouTube who purchased this exact toy. I'm pointing at it, you can't see it. Who purchased this exact toy, made a couple of very minor adjustments to it, and got it to work pretty well. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm in. I don't have the time or the space, honestly, to get more invested than approximately this. I am gonna unwind this. Unweave. I'm gonna unravel this. I didn't do a good job. I was just messing around. But here's the guy. After purchasing it, again on eBay, I have found it under multiple brand names, but I have been told it is called the Loomsy. Loomsy. I will also link the videos below of the weaver I found who was doing stuff with it. It makes a fabric 5 inches wide, which is pretty limited, but I'm not opposed to sewing panels together to make wider panels. You'll see where I'm going with all of this when I actually start working on stuff. That's not today. Today I'm going to a local holiday vendor event. I went to the preview night version of it like a month ago. You may have seen on my Instagram, I shared like a lot about it on my Instagram story. Tonight and tomorrow is the real thing, so I'm gonna be there briefly. Again, everything that's flaring, I can't do a whole lot. But I'm gonna visit. If you're my sister, you have to leave before I talk about the next thing. Sorry. And you can't watch the rest of this video for several more months. Thank you. So the other thing I'm working on, learning, is spinning cotton. It is kind of a nightmare. It's technically working. I will say the cotton I got to work with is very pleasant. Sometimes I think cotton sucks to touch. This is really nice. Egyptian cotton comb top roving from Living Dreams yarn. I got 3 colors. I don't know 100% what I'm gonna do with it yet, but my sister crochets and uses a lot of cotton yarn, and I thought instead of making something for the maker, well, I still am doing that. Hand spun yarn, wouldn't that be a fun gift for someone who uses yarn, right? That's the plan, that's the idea. So I got this gray, it's looking really blue on camera, but it's like a steel gray, I don't know, and a dark maroon and black. So I don't know, am I gonna do a 3-ply, am I gonna do 2, I don't know. Am I gonna sacrifice one of these colors entirely just to learn how to make this yarn correctly and then make a 2-ply with the other 2 colors? Maybe. I have some time. Thankfully I have several months. But yeah, it's a huge pain, but it's still fun. I don't know how those can both be true at the same time, but cotton really does that. So that's what I'm working on. I will show you the things that I have finished at the end of the video, kind of go back to the old format. So I'll see you later tonight when we go to the thing. I'll show you. Sorry, one more thing. This is only a handful of people are going to care about this, but I'm building a mono black popper sacrifice deck. I think this is my oldest card that I own. Let me take it out of the sleeve. Dragon Shields Forever, by the way. This is colorway Crypt. Yeah, this might be my oldest card, Dark Ritual. I went to a very small popper tournament last month. Very small as in, it was at like a big convention, big-ish, a medium-sized convention. It was at a convention. 6 people showed up, but I still get to say I made top 6. So, just kidding, I didn't film anything. All we got was food. Okay, so the last time I was at this place, which is West Bottom's plant company and ADHDIY and a bunch of stuff all in one building, was last weekend I went to ADHDIY and did a little embroidery of a bat. I accidentally stole the needle, not sure if I was supposed to do that. Thank you for the needle, sorry. So we're back. All we got was food. I got a bagel and several desserts. I did take my lipstick off because I'm going to eat a bagel. One thing about this at ADHDIY, I hadn't been to the West Bottoms location, like I hadn't actually crafted there. I'd been in the building before. I have done maybe 5 or 6 embroidery projects in the last 30 years. 30-something years. So it's not the best embroidery. Satin stitch was bold, I think. But I was feeling ambitious. I don't know. I'm not unhappy with it. I think the vines are really cute. That's the last crafty thing I have to talk about today, so I will see you tomorrow for weaving. Good morning, gamers. It's tomorrow. Welcome. It's weaving day. I did start last night because I didn't want to... I wanted to get it warped and make sure that I could do that effectively and that it would work. And it did. And I'll show you. It feels crazy to be able to pick this whole thing up and show you the entire thing on camera. But I got it warped. It's working. This yarn is a little stretchier than I expected, so that's a new factor to work with. I'm using Cascade Sarasota Chunky, which I bought a couple years ago for a Christmas project, and then it ended up just not being the right yarn for what I was making, so I have a lot of it left over. I have a plan for what I'm going to make. I will not reveal that plan until it is clearer to me whether or not it's going to work. So right now it's a surprise. Let's get weaving. Also, if you're an experienced weaver, this is going to hurt to watch, and I'm so sorry. This is not going to be any semblance of tutorial. I'm brand new to this. We're just hanging out. We're just hanging out. And if you are a new subscriber who came from maybe, oh, I have to talk about the subscribers thing later. If you're a new subscriber who came from Goth Knitting, we do a lot of just hanging out. And if that's not for you, I totally understand. If I only made the videos that people actually watch, I wouldn't be doing this at all. I also might do some spinning today. I do feel a tension headache setting in, so I'm going to... Honestly, I haven't figured out what fixes those yet. I'm going to Google that first. Caffeine seems to help. I'm going to drink a lot of caffeine. Okay, let's go.
That your spacers will stay secured. For me, 3 spacers are enough for straightening out the warp. So I'm going to remove this shed stick and re-weave it into the warp.
Okay, everything that's going on around me is loud. I'm so sorry. I'm realizing that with this yarn, which is, I thought it was more cotton than it is. It's 60% cotton, 40% acrylic, which is probably why it's so stretchy. And I thought it being stretchy was good. I think someone said that like it was good to start with wool because it's a little bit more elastic and more forgiving, and that cotton would be more difficult. I'm finding this more difficult. Hey, second thought, I have no idea why it's stretchy. Acrylic isn't stretchy. Why did I say that? Anyway, I'm more confused than ever. This yarn, as I weave it, is a lot harder to, with the beater, get it actually like pretty tight. it kind of won't do that. I grabbed a comb. I'm doing a lot of black on black. I'm sorry. I know you can't see anything. I'm doing my best. What if I put this blanket on my lap? Or like over part of me so that you can see? Bless you. Cat sneezed. Anyway, this is so disjointed and silly because I don't know what I'm doing. Also, did I just find out that it's dressing the loom with warp, not warping? I don't know. I don't know. I got a comb to help tighten the weave. It's working. I know they make an actual tool that is a comb for this purpose. I just don't have that. So, this is what we're doing. Continuing on. Okay, so I can visually see the difference of where I started using the comb. It's much tighter, it feels much more sturdy versus this, which is probably not great to have all of that together and have it switch in the middle. But I guess that's part of experimenting, so we're gonna keep going. I know I can get the proper type of comb at Michael's for pretty inexpensive, but it is so cold today that if I leave my home, I will become ill from the cold. So this is what we're working with today. What may come as a surprise to absolutely no one, the headache caught up with me. I had to take a break. I'm gonna keep working on that weaving for probably the rest of the night. It's 4 p.m. so naturally it's pitch black outside. It looks like midnight. So I'll show you some if I can. If not, I'll see you tomorrow. Headache has improved significantly. Here's another update. I was gifted an object that is a little bit cursed. I sit over here to work from home. Do me a favor for a moment and pretend you're my boss and we're in a Teams meeting. Am I fired? Am I fired if this is my backdrop for Teams meetings? Okay, it's the next morning. I spent a lot of time weaving last night. I did go ahead and print out the pattern and cut it out of what I intend to eventually make with this, and I think I'm about 1/3 of the way through, so that's gonna be its own video. But I'm gonna keep weaving a little bit and then I'm gonna go talk about knitting to a camera in a different place. Knitting and other stuff. One thing I did notice, I was watching videos of other people weaving, and I guess I just missed this the first several videos I watched, but I'm noticing that there we go. I'm noticing that other people tend to not like pull this down and tight before beating it, so that it's not as, I mean this fabric is pretty tight. And I don't know 100% if that's preference, but any fiber art I start doing way too tight and then have to learn how to loosen up, and this has been no different so far. So we're gonna keep weaving a little bit. I don't want to make too many drastic changes in the same piece of fabric, obviously, but I'm gonna try to experiment a little bit. Hey, I haven't sat down to talk in a while. This feels weird. So I want to do kind of a knit and chat, although I'm going to interrupt my own knitting multiple times to show you the things that I've been working on. First of all, there are not that many things. I mean, for the amount of time that it's been since I recorded one of these, there are not that many things. There are kind of still a lot of things, but I had to take a month off knitting. More than a month. I had to take a significant amount of time off knitting. And as someone who spends a lot of time knitting, it keeps my hands busy, it keeps my mind busy. That has been genuinely very hard. I have avoided talking about this publicly because at the end of every video I'm always saying, like, rest, stretch, take care of your joints. And the idea that someone could think I don't actually live by that, I'm scared of getting my feelings hurt, you know? Because I do genuinely live by that. The type of arthritis I have just means I'm very susceptible to overuse injuries. I listen to my body, but my limits change rapidly with no warning. I am back into knitting a little bit. To me, a little bit. I am working on other projects to kind of give my hands a break or to use different parts of my hands more, you know? That is actually why I picked up this little weaving loom. We'll talk about that more in a minute. It's why I've been embroidering more. I actually started crocheting a blanket that I didn't bring in here. It's just too big. I'm using the leftover big twist yarn from my Pride Month project where I made all those bandanas to give away. I'm just turning a lot of the leftover yarn into a blanket. So I think switching up what I'm actually working on has been beneficial for my hands, but rest has been the most important thing. So again, now I'm back up to knitting a little bit. Not as much as I want to be knitting, and it's a huge bummer, and I really don't want to talk about it more than that. I know I'm opening myself up to that by putting it on the internet, but I'm kind of over the idea of hiding it. So what I'm working on today, and this is probably the thing I work on the least because tiny needles, you know, but I'm working on the Simply Irresistible socks. I'll have to put the name and the designer on the screen because I don't have that in front of me. The yarn is Portobello, Hazel Knits Artisan Sock. The color is Portobello. I'm very happy with them so far. If you've heard me talk about waffle texture, I love it so much. And this yarn is fun. I really like the kind of cool toned brown. I have my sock notebook as I knit all my socks. I'm taking notes in here of the needles I use, the yarn I use, the pattern, any changes I made, so that when I do, hopefully I can still do the big sock video, I have all of the information. So back to the loom. I just finished I was working with that black cotton and acrylic yarn. I just finished that and took everything off the loom. So here's what it looks like with nothing on it. Loom tour. It's kind of clanky with nothing on it. Sorry, it's early afternoon, so the light is changing kind of very quickly, quicker than I can keep up with it. So my general review of this toy loom for children is it's fun. I like using it. Again, I don't have the like time or space in my home to dedicate to really getting into weaving. I just wanted to mess around, and I think this is perfect for that. I am going to keep using it. I will make probably a dedicated video to the project I intend to make with this fabric. I started with waste yarn, but I didn't end with waste yarn. I just forgot I could and should do that. But as if you can see this against the background, here is what I've made so far. It's so wobbly, it's so uneven. I have a lot to work on. But I can say I did successfully make fabric. I have not woven in the ends yet. I would like to work on loosening up my tension, but the project I want to make with this, I do want a pretty sturdy, like dense, structured fabric. So that part, my just sort of innate desire to make yarn as tight as possible in any project, I think is good at the moment, or it would be if it was consistent. You already saw this, but the other thing I made, I can show you in the daylight. This was just some scrap yarn. This is going to be a little roll-up sewing kit. I still need to decide how exactly I'm going to do that. I dropped it somewhere. I did use my lucette fork to make a cord in the same yarn to tie it closed. I tucked that into my waistband because I don't have pockets today. Now I don't know where it is, so it's on the floor somewhere, or it's still in my pants. Impossible to know. One of the big projects I'm still working on is the baseline cardigan, Suzanne Summers pattern. Part of it is completely off the needles right now. That's the part I'm going to show you because what's on the needles is like 2 rows, so that's not going to be helpful. I have half of the cardigan done. Well, minus sleeve. I have half of the body done, except for the ribbing, right? So, vertical micro stripes, black and brown. I've been holding on to this yarn for a long time. It's the Big Twist sock wool I bought like a full year ago from Joanne. If anyone has seen this yarn, has it come back? Please let me know. I really enjoy working with it. It's very soft. It does split kind of a lot, but it feels so nice. Like I think it's worth it to me. But at the same time, I'm trying to move away from like big box wool. If I can buy wool yarn from like indie dyers or wool to spin from people who actually have the sheep, like that's always going to be higher priority to me. So never mind. If they still make this, don't tell me. I don't want to know. I take it back. So this has been a very interesting process because it's worked from like the center back out. Oh, I forgot. This part is beyond the halfway line. So I had to pick back up here, and this is all going to be part of the left side. I'm pretty happy with it so far. I think the length is going to be really good, and it's pretty lightweight. So I think getting this finished by like as we're ending winter to go into the beginning of spring is going to be really good. And I think this will be a staple like summer office piece for me because freezing office, but I don't want to carry something around super heavy. I think this is going to be great for that. It is not the like beautiful, perfect, cool toned brown that I imagined for like my concept of this cardigan in my mind, but I'm still having a good time with it. I'm still, you know, expanding my color palette the tiniest bit. One thing I finished completely within the last couple of months is the Peat Wrap. We talked about it a lot because I had to spin all the yarn for it. It's really, really big, so knitting it took a long time, so it has popped up in multiple videos, but it's done. I'm gonna take my scarf off and put it on. Scooting back just a tiny bit so you can kind of see it. It's a really wide wrap. It has this cool cable detail and all the eyelets. And this project, I agree with the fringe on. Sometimes I don't agree with fringe. This one, I really like. I see that one piece that's too long. I gotta cut. Oh, I see multiple pieces that are too long. I have to fix that. Anyway, I have been wearing this a lot as the weather got cold. It has been a very essential piece in my wardrobe very suddenly. If you live in the Midwest and it just got extremely cold out of nowhere in the middle of fall, yeah, me too. And on that note, I did crochet a beret to go with it. I knit the ribbing, but I crocheted the rest of it. I knew I wanted to do something with the leftover yarn. I think I'm also going to make a pair of like fingerless mitts or something. Like a 3-piece set would be fun. And I have enough yarn left over to do probably exactly that. That's the plan. I think it's cute. I love berets. I love crocheting berets. I had a phase where that's all I wanted to make and I just crocheted a stack of berets. I became not the hat man. Who is it? The guy with all the hats? He sells all the hats and then monkeys steal all his hats. Hats for sale? I became hats for sale guy. Speaking of hats for sale guy, I found out there is, in Kansas City, some sort of, I haven't looked very much into it, so I'm going to say things that are probably not true. There's some sort of, like, children's book museum thing? And I think Hats for Sale is there. And Hats for Sale is a very important part of my childhood for some reason. Hats for Sale is part of the reason I'm like this. Oh well. What if I just keep wearing this? The other thing I finished is my beanie. If you remember, I made a red and black one for my partner. I dyed this yarn several months ago. So the brown and black one for me, red and black one for my partner. I made my partner's first because only one of us really goes outside. This is inspired by the Musselburgh hat. I did make it before purchasing the pattern, but I think the pattern's good. I think I'm going to use the pattern next time. This is really just a basic beanie. I love it. I like that it's 4 thinner layers on the brim. I really don't like a hat that is too tight or too bulky. So this is really a perfect medium for me. It's still very warm. I think there are 2 more things we get to chat about. I have given up on knitting in this video. By the way, like, I'm no longer wearing the splint. I'm wearing the compression. I have graduated from the splint. I have graduated from the splint. I'm not trying to downplay how serious this was, and kind of still is. On the topic of hand pain, I did purchase, I'm getting a lot of ads for this on Instagram, and please tell me I'm not alone in this. I'm getting a lot of ads for the Hand Titan. I'll put a picture of it here. I went ahead and bought it. I will review it. You'll see that as soon as I have data, you know? It hasn't even arrived in the mail yet, but I will review it. I lied, we have 3 more things to talk about. The little embroidery. I did this at ADHDIY, the West Bottoms location, which is the same place that I went to the local vendor art fair on Friday night, and I got a bagel. Honestly, I bought so much stuff at the preview night. I kind of needed to get in and get out, and I got a bagel. I would like to keep embroidering. That is the point I'm getting to. I had fun. I don't think it's great, but I had fun, and I would like to get better at it. So maybe you'll see more embroidery from me. I don't know. Certainly, They won't all be bats. The last 3 were bats. They won't all be bats. Second to last thing, I don't usually do acquisitions. However, the stars have aligned. A yarn I am too obsessed with to not show you, and my friend dyed it. So we're doing an acquisition section, and it's exactly 2 skeins. Full disclosure, you cannot have this yarn. You can't get this yarn. It was a pre-order, and it is long closed. However, they might be available next winter or next, like, late fall for Christmas. They're Christmas yarns. They are Nightmare Before Christmas yarns. And this just gives you an idea of what this dyer is about, because they just have the coolest yarns. I couldn't even knit when I bought these, and I still knew I had to purchase them. So this is the Sally's Ingredients collection from Wicked Fiber Co. This one is Frog's Breath. This one is Wormswort. There was no way I could ignore these. There was no way. They're perfect. I've had to keep these out of my sight to keep my hands safe. I want to cast these on so bad. I intend to make a skirt. These and black, striped. A skirt? I'm so excited. And this is the same dyer as I showed this one, I think a couple months ago. Same dyer as the Showtime yarn that I intend to make socks with. So, this is the vibe. If this is your vibe, Wicked Fiber Co. Okay, one last thing to talk about. We hit 10,000 subscribers. 10,000 of them? Of you? I'm so scared. My partner designed this and made an entire instruction manual for me to build this. It was the cutest thing. I can't talk about it more. I'll cry. But just know, I have this for 10,000, and it had better be my only play button ever. I don't anticipate. Well, I didn't anticipate 10,000 is the thing. So now I'm scared. I knew that there are certain thresholds that once you hit, the algorithm starts showing you more, and things just kind of get out of control. And that is kind of what's happening. I'm not going to stop posting. I am posting less. Hopefully that means longer videos that I can put more time and effort into. I am posting less. Big numbers so scary. I am so appreciative, but big numbers so scary. If you were around for it, you know I freaked out at 5,000. That was big numbers so scary. Even though I have a great fear of all of you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being on this weird journey. That is all for today. We're not gonna talk about my hands. I am standing by my instructions to rest your hands, take breaks, stretch, listen to your body, take care of your joints. All of that is still true. But as always, go and live your best yarny life, and I will see you next time. Bye. Hey, it's later. My hair is different. 2 things. I know that anytime I wear a new interesting lip color, people are going to ask. It is Ashes by Black Moon Cosmetics. It was a Black Friday purchase for myself. Second thing, I found the cord. It was in my pants.